But not out of it by the slightest means. I mean, there's more than enough possibilities for Elevate to come back in game number 2, like we saw happen yesterday in their series against Obey. So I'm sure that Elevate are definitely looking to make the comeback against Astral.
They're going to figure something out, right? Because they ran so many different strategies against Obey Alliance yesterday. And the fact of the matter is, Astral Authority is their scrim partners, right? So they have to be a little bit careful about how they execute their picks and bans in this long best-of-5 set.
How do you feel that they're going to be prioritizing their picks and bans, though? I mean, you mentioned that oBoronic is his best character might be the Zeus, but do you think that there is potentially another focal area for their team?
I think, you know, if they do get the Zeus, you know, I think I want to see them pick either Khepri or Geb in the top 3, something that either can, you know, protect Zeus or revive him. I don't know. As far as the Bellona, you know, they've been first picking Bellona every game. I don't know if they need to do that. Wolves doesn't typically play it. So I don't think the Bellona is necessarily such a high priority pick for them. I'd like to see them get, you know, maybe a jungler. You know, if they don't ban the Morrigan for Dr. L, maybe they could look to first pick that, something along those lines.
And not only that, like the fact that Wolves doesn't play the Bellona means that they don't have to first pick it. They can wait until right before the secondary ban phase if they're worried about that counter ban.
And counter picking is probably one of the most crucial standpoints here when you have two teams facing off that have been scrim partners for so long. You really get to know each other's play styles, and that includes the God pulls, but I would definitely prefer to see delnyy flexing it out a little bit more as well.
And they could look for the early, like the first pick Cabrakan, because we saw Dr. L play the Cabrakan yesterday and just absolutely went off. So I think either, you know, they need to look for probably Zeus or Cabrakan in their first pick. And then build a comp around that as well. You know, just I don't think you can give Astral Zeus Cabrakan. Well, I don't think you can give him Zeus, but let alone Zeus Cabrakan. And so yeah, I think either Cabrakan or Zeus first pick for Elevate.
The Zeus for Coviiii was just doing a lot of work in the first game. So heading into picks and bans for game number 2, Elevate, they have to figure things out because they allowed the Zeus to go through after the Cabrakan pick. You know, picking up the Bellona Vulcan after the Cabrakan, you're giving up too much on the table, I feel like.
And Zaxi, you actually brought up a very interesting point during the game where you pointed out that he didn't even have that much damage, KhaoticPurpose, on the Cabrakan during the game. So what was really the whole aspect behind the pick? Yeah,
you know, it was literally just the setup. You know, you got gods that don't have dashes, you know, like a Scylla dash to get through the Cabrakan wall. So he's just looking to wall you off. He says, you know, I got a wall here, and then drop the lightning storm, and then it's game over.
Well, considering that Elevate do have first pick this go round, they are taking the Cabrakan for themselves, no more to Astral Authority. And I'm sure that's got to be a little bit of relief to somebody like oBoronic, who's going to be playing those mages and not getting locked down as hard this go round.
Absolutely, especially when Dr. L plays it so aggressively that he actually gets Blink to be able to engage on the back line. Hitting those mages for that full combo can even eliminate their lives, if not get them down to at least 25% health.
And as far as Astral Authority is concerned, now that they're well aware that Cabrakan is going to be a very big threat throughout the game, what would you like to see from Astral in, like, compensation?
I would probably like to see one of the defensive supports come out, probably a Khepri or a Geb, just due to the fact that we saw how aggressively Dr. L played the Cabrakan, you know, just blinking in and essentially one-shotting you around the mid-game. So the Ymir, though, that could be solo. I wouldn't be surprised if that's solo for Wolves, and then they do opt for a lot more defensive support here. But the Awlix also, that's early pressure. KhaoticPurpose loves that, so not surprised to see that come out.
I like the idea and the mindset that you mentioned there, the defensive support for ElevateDoctorL. You know, he goes on to whatever he kind of feels like sometimes. He'll go into the Ares, and then other times he'll just play the Khepri. But the Geb would be a nice idea, though, because you can knock up the Cabrakan, stop it from tremoring, and then give that important shield to your mage that gets focused. For
a second there, I thought I was looking at the wrong team, watching Elevate picking up the exact same draft that we saw from Astral Authority in game number 1.
Yeah, Elevate with the, you know, anything you can do, I can do better sort of thing here, saying, all right, let's see how we play your guys' comp, and Astral saying, okay, go ahead and play it. We know how to play against it. And there it is, the Geb third pick. I really like that.
Great call on the defensive support from Astral Authority. So, and you mentioned that you wanted to see the defensiveness because of the burst damage that we could potentially see out of Elevate, but do you think that Astral might be getting punished early on for the Geb pick?
They very well could, just due to the fact that, you know, once Zeus hits 5 and Cabrakan hits 5 in mid, there's kill potential, if that is a Cabrakan jungle. So the Geb shield not going to be doing too much work early game, so I wouldn't be surprised for Elevate to look for some early 3v3 skirmishes in mid.
A lot of teams will opt to deviate their strategies once they do see the Geb locked in. Instead of going for that mid-mage potential with the Geb right around the corner, they're just going to shift all that attention onto the Geb before those levels come online to increase the health that the shield provides, along with the tankiness from the items.
Well, when you have an Awlix locked in, well, I can't even ask you guys now, since the Habwa is going to be the next selection, and that's a solid amount of spice from Astral Authority.
Yeah, I expect to see that in the mid lane by Coviiii. As far as I know, Trans doesn't play it, and I know it's one of Coviii's better gods. And it's great too because it's more set up for the Awlix, right? They have the Geb knockup, now they have the Hebo knockup. So you got 2 sources of knockups, which is really good for the Awlix.
A little risky though to go Hebo to try to set up the Awlix. Vulcan was still available, which is a little bit safer. You know, you have the backfire to disjoint yourself. You have more abilities from a distance. Habwa has to get a little bit closer to the thick of frays, but that's not something that's uncommon for Coviiii. He likes to go in.
Do you expect Astral Authority to encounter some issues, though, considering their composition right now seems really centered around a single target with the Awlix, with the Habwa? So do you feel as though the Khepri could be the best countering factor to that?
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a problem for Astral. You know, they have we have the knockup into the pull, but we also, you know, on the side of Elevate, we have a Khepri ult, you know, so it's going to eliminate, you know, pretty much what Astral wants to do. They're running somewhat of a pick comp here. You know, they want to group in the jungle, look for their wombo combo, and then pick you. But Khepri is going to really alleviate some of that with his ults, and I think it was really smart for Elevate to pick up the Khepri here. The Odin was banned. Okay, so the Odin was banned, so it'll be no Odin for Elevate here. The Vamana, wow.
Pretty safe pick for the solo laner. You can't really go wrong with that choice. The only problem that you may run into is any sort of gank coming out of the Awlix. Now, it is going to be more than likely the Ymir in the solo lane, although technically it's still a flex pick here. It could go to ElevateDoctorL as well. He's been known to run this Ymir and kind of bait himself, but with that Geb locked in, you're not going to really find it there.
And there's just so much early game aggression on the side of Elevate. So would you definitely say that we can expect to see some early buff invades? Yeah,
and I think you have to. I think if you let this comp from Astral get online, you know, get to that 20, 25-minute mark, it's just going to be bad. You're just going to have a Hebo one-shotting everyone and getting shielded by Geb, which is going to be really annoying. So, yeah, I think Elevate really needs to push the pressure early, look to snowball, and I think they can get a win here.
And Astral Authority locking in Neith last here, increasing the pick potential in that jungle.
And we saw how game number 1 went the way of Astral Authority. Actually, do you think we're going to see a repeat this time around?
This time around, I think I like Elevate's comp a little bit better. I'm going to give this one to Elevate.
Okay, how about you, Tolly?
I like Astral Authority because of the aggressive nature of their composition. They're going to group up around the jungle and find the picks.
Well, the picks and bans are locked in for game number 2, so now it's time for the casters to take it away.
Astral Authority, they make me a little bit happy by picking the Habwa. First of all, not sure where Hebo and Neith are going to go. That's a Transonic special.
We could see Trans play it. I know Zaxi said that he thinks it's going to go to Coviiii, and I don't disagree with him. I think that Coviiii, this is one of the gods we've seen him play consistently throughout that online spring split. But I've also seen Transonics play it in that Hunter role, and of course Coviiii can obviously play that Neith in mid. We've seen multiple mids take that Neith into the mid lane, and she brings a lot there. So it could be a little bit of a switch up. I really do think that Hebo was designed as a flex pick at the time, though. Without your mid or your Hunter selected, that was one of those, okay, both of us can play this. Let's just see who gets the better matchup here.
With that said, so yes, I like to see Habwa. I think he's kind of fun to see, but picking it into a Khepri and a Cabrakan seems kind of odd. Habwa kind of he's got one shot during a team fight to really change it, and Khepri kind of makes you need 2.
That's true, though there is a lot of consistent damage with Hebo in the middle of these team fights. It's just if he can stay alive. Now, usually, he can't stay alive because he's always the focus because of how much damage he brings. And control, really, not only with the knockups, but that AoE slow / speed buff for your team can really throw a wrench in your plans in the middle of a team fight. Hebo is going to be the main focus here for Elevate, and with the Cabrakan, that's an excellent way to lock him down. I'm very surprised the Astral let this Cabrakan through for Dr. L because he was dominant on it yesterday up against Obey. I know he was great on the Morrigan, but I don't know. I feel like giving him the Morrigan might have made more sense than giving him the Cabrakan.
I feel you on that one. Vamana also going to be an issue for Habwa as he finds himself on the back line very easily. And yeah, if you guys saw me hurt myself, this is the pen that I broke yesterday. I got
oh, you broke your pen?
Yeah, I was really upset and Hindu made fun of me. I just pricked my finger on it because it's got a jagged edge now.
You've had that pen for like years.
Yeah, I spoke at a Siege Con event. I got
remember,
very upset at the broadcast, man.
I remember you told me like a 20-minute story about it yesterday, how you got that pen. None of it had to do with the pen. It was a 20-minute story about the conference, and then it was, but all I have is this pen. And now you barely have that.
Well, we all got to hang on to something. And Elevate going to hang on to the fact that they, in my opinion, have the better draft. Coviiii will be playing the Habwa in the mid lane, but like I said, a number of things to really mess with this. You've got Khepri over there that once the Habwa ultimate comes through, well, Khepri's going to fix that situation. We've got Dr. L, the ultimate out of Cabrakan, one of the better ultimates to control a Habwa. And then delnyy going to have no problem getting in between the frontliners right into where Habwa's hanging out.
I agree with you. This draft from Elevate is really solid. They've got more pressure in that mid lane. They've got more pressure on the right-hand side as well. Really smart draft coming out of them.
Dr. L, however, getting very low thanks to the early damage.
Ooh.
Rotation out of the Transonics. Going to force out beads onto the early Cabrakan.
It was the Aegis actually coming out of Cabrakan. Remember, Aegis does get you out of roots in those scenarios, so smart rotation there from Transonics. Doesn't lose a whole lot there from it and gets that defensive cooldown out. He's been all over the map, and this is not the Transonics we saw for the majority of Season 3, who really wanted to split push more than anything else.
Yeah.
Really seems to want a team fight now.
Yeah, definitely has to change things around. Not the only one that's changed. Astral's Mortality Wolves over there in the solo lane. The old story is the jump in from MichaelCheco, looking to get aggressive, gets the knockup. Oboronix here as well. Coviiii one shot away. Dr. L takes him to business town, and that's going to be first blood for Elevate.
Love the aggressiveness there from Checo, but that chain lightning from Oboronic was exactly what the doctor ordered for Elevate, and that was Dr. L who ordered it, by the way. The AoE slow there between two members in the jungle, that is the dream scenario for Zeus. Two members by themselves in the jungle, you can guarantee damage off of. No detonate for him to really secure both kills, but exactly, don't need it. First blood onto the worst member of Astral Authority if you're rooting for them. Coviiii really cannot afford to fall behind, kind of like Kenshin did in game number 1.
So one of the nice things that Zeus has by way of the jungle choice of Cabrakan is the fact that Cabrakan's tremors are just going to slow the player down and allow Oboronic to pile in those basics. Don't forget, part of Zeus's passive is that once you get those charges, he's going to hit you even harder with subsequent shots. Right here, another example. Brochacho in trouble, saved by the knockup out of Coviiii. Detonate available this time, but not enough to take down Brochacho.
Shell coming up big there for Brochacho.
Really big.
Though you could make the argument that if he would have had meditation, he saves his life anyways, but with a little bit more effectiveness. Either way, I've got no problem with the Shell in this matchup. Shell excellent up against Zeus ult, whereas it doesn't do, you know, the Kraken sort of burst damage. It's spread out over your entire team. That Shell can come in big handy.
Another relic being used by KhaoticPurpose. There's the meditation, and Wolf shows up. Ultimate gonna slow delnyy down, still not enough. And the retreat out of the jungler. But delnyy, he's gonna get caught. He's so gonna get caught. The knockup is good. One basic, two, and the feather step puts Astral Authority on the board.
Nice chase down there by KhaoticPurpose, just using that extra mobility, courtesy of the speed buff to catch up to delnyy. Caught sleeping a little bit, and again, not on his usual Bellona. Different pick this time out of the solo lane, having a little bit of a worse start than he's used to.
Yeah, I mean, trouble. And also Bellona has, KhaoticPurpose has the long range shot. Bellona sounds like bologna. Worst sounds like liverwurst. I was trying to find some sort of sandwich. I'm having fun out here, man.
At least someone is. KhaoticPurpose is gonna get stunned out in the jungle by Dr. L, but the nice feather step into the double knockup there gets him out of danger. Wolves gonna continue to return a little bit of damage onto Dr. L, who's still sitting at level 4. KhaoticPurpose has already gotten some value out of his ultimate by now. could be up on a second rotation before Dr. L is ready to go with his.
Yeah, that's incredible. Just really being a little bit faster. Wolves here gonna dance the dance with Kenshin and delnyy, ultimately trying to stay safe, but at the same time, not afraid. And I think that's really important if you're gonna be a solo laner. It's a 1v2, and you have to go out there and clear the wave, knowing what you have. He's relatively tanky this early on with the Mark of the Vanguard, can take some shots from the minions, so why not?
Well, it's the Wolves mentality, man. I say it all the time, he doesn't care what you're gonna do. He's always gonna do what he feels like he should be doing, or hell, just wants to do in that lane or in the late game team fights. His mentality is so much different than it used to be in terms of he wants to be the big bully. He's the one who's out there yelling at the opposition now.
Here's Dr. L getting in trouble. 1 stun, 2 stun, and he's gonna get in trouble. Feather Step is good. He gets knocked up and saved by the Khepri. Good play coming out from Kenshin. Wall out of Wolves to separate the team. Coviii's the one in trouble, and it's the ultimate out of MichaelCheco. Finds the jump, finds the impale. The double un for the Hunter. Still looking for more. oBoronic and MichaelCheco will get the farm out of the Gremlins, and KhaoticPurpose has to run away. Stage north.
The duo lane for Elevate showing up big so far this game. Checo has been all over the map, making his presence known in mid earlier on, securing the first blood onto Coviiii. That time makes the rotation kind of Transonics-esque, if you will, and finds the double.
I love this play by Elevate, daring Astral Authority to fight into it. KP and Wolves say yes. Big freeze and a knockup even better. And Mortality Wolves takes down Dr. L. delnyy is next. He's in trouble too. The wall is strong, and 2 kills for the solo lane.
2v3, and again, Wolves just does whatever he wants alongside KhaoticPurpose. The AoE Feather Step damage coming out of KP there was massive, and Wolves' patience to just wait on that freeze until he could guarantee that all 3 were going to get hit by it. That's a tough blow to the ego of Elevate, because they just make a big play, they defend their speed buff, they get 2 kills, they're feeling good, then all of a sudden, they just lost a 2v3.
Exactly, and I said I liked the play from Elevate. You have the numbers advantage, you just won it. Go ahead and swing it into the purple buff. But Astral played that perfectly. There wasn't a thing that went wrong for Astral, which is why they were able to take the 2v3. Just excellently played by Astral to outplay the other strong play from Elevate. Big ultimate by Coviiii. He's going to put down oBoronic. KP with the last shot on a Coviiii.
There's a knockup on a Dr. L. Brochacho trying to get away from delnyy, and that Colossal Fury might be able to do so, except for the beautiful root coming out of Kenshin. Locks him down, allows Dr. L to pick up the double.
Man, Astral Authority and Elevate neck and neck here, back and forth, quite literally.
All right, so that one, trying to take an outnumbered fight again, a little bit too greedy there out of Astral Authority. I thought Brochacho was rolling that way in order to get his carries out. It was really to play aggressive.
Oh, delnyy gets grabbed and pulled right into Wolves' nonsense. Dr. L is next. Feather Step, basic, you're gone. There's a kill for KhaoticPurpose. 3, 0, and 3 for the jungler.
So as good of a game as MichaelCheco is having on the left side, that's exactly what Wolves is doing on the right side. That's a problem, because giving Wolves a lead like this is sure to spell trouble for your entire right side jungle. delnyy just, when he's not on the Bologna, has not looked nearly the same type of player.
Yeah, it's been rough. It's definitely been a change for delnyy. And I want to touch on something that you mentioned before a little bit, talk about the change of Transonics. How he's become more of an active player on this roster.
Yeah.
Instead of just sitting in one lane, becoming more active. Take a look at the player cams. Wolves is known as one of the most quiet players in the league, and yet here on Astral, after talking to Brochacho, he said, look, that's an identity he left behind. He's not like that any longer. And now if you watch the player cams, Wolves is screaming, he's yelling, he's a part of this box scene, and I love it. I think that having one of the better players in the league be this excitable, aggressive monster, that's a lot of fun.
It also, I liked the kind of mysterious Wolves who, you know, just has a little dog picture for an avatar and doesn't really talk a whole lot, and then just comes in and destroys your whole life anytime he plays up against you. But I'm super down for him to be, you know, right in the enemy's face, telling them how crap they are. That's the big one this entire weekend, is letting people know just how bad at SMITE game they are. But either way, a lot of fun whenever these players really start to get into it.
Yeah, Wolves and KhaoticPurpose have just been so loud on that side of the arena. Dr. L taking a little bit of poke. I say a little bit. He goes from 100 to about 55%, all from just a basic, a Moonlight Charge, and a Feather Step.
Freeze onto Kenshin after another good wall from Wolves. Look at that Feather Step damage coming out of KhaoticPurpose. The meditation keeps Kenshin up, but Coviii's trying to chase him down. Bad decision there out of Coviiii.
Emo. That's what happens. If you hit the ultimate, then it guarantees a kill because you hit your 3-1 combo. If you don't hit the ultimate, it guarantees a kill because you're the one dead. That's how Evo works. That it's feast or famine. 0, 4, and 2 so far for Coviiii. We mentioned earlier that although I like this pick on this player in general, the fact that a lot of the elements that Elevate have to at their disposal just kind of work against what Hebo does.
Oboronic doesn't have his ultimate for this Gold Fury pull. There's his Desert Fury, but it's a little bit too early. Like the decision there, but Wolves is coming around the back, finds 3 with the freeze. Now Oboronics in a ton of trouble.
He's stuck next to the pillar, and the ultimate's gonna slow him even down. Look at Brochacho, body blocks for days. Oboronics gonna get hit, slowed, meditation saves him for the moment. There's a good knockup. Wolves has a wall very soon. Doesn't need it. The carpet's enough. And Mortality Wolves takes his number 5.
I actually love that play from Checo. It almost saves Boronic's life because Oboronic has the Bumba's mask. That heal was from Bumba's from the red buff falling down. Checo, sure, might have been able to save his life with an impale, but with 3 people there, just giving him enough health to try and run away. Really heads up play. Doesn't end up working out for Elevate, but you got to respect the thought process.
Yeah, no, those are the type of things that, I mean, when you see somebody in a Twitch chat ask what separates a pro player from a very, very good ranked player, just understanding every variable on the battlefield. Things like that, very important. Portal Demon, a little bit less important, but will still give the lead to Astral Authority. Team separated by less than 1,000, but AA in the lead.
So Checo gets out of danger there after helping his team secure the Gold Fury. Elevate do lose 2 for that Gold Fury, and the problem is that it's DoctorL again who ends up falling. He's been in a part of all the action basically thus far. He's 3, 3, and 3 at 11 minutes. So he's been a part of all 6 kills for Elevate, but he's also died 3 times early on. It's gonna delay his tankiness. We saw just how tanky KhaoticPurpose got really, really quickly in game 1 playing this Cabrakan. He's going for the Void Stone this time around, so really more worried about Coviiii, which is surprising to me because Coviii's damage isn't going to be relevant until later, whereas KhaoticPurpose, his damage is relevant right now.
For me, the Void Stone a little bit more about being offensive than defensive here. The right side tower will go to Astral, but DoctorL holding a very different role. He's going to hold the role of the Dire here. Coviiii in trouble. He's in dire need of some help. He'll exit on the left side. MichaelCheco does get hit by the root. He just saves his life for the moment and looks to be safe after that. Veronica to join up with his Hunter. That'll dissuade Astral from pushing further. But DoctorL here has a very different role than KhaoticPurpose had last game on the same character. And this is why I like SMITE. DoctorL here, he has to be a little bit more aggressive. It's his job to really lock down what Coviii's doing. So one, he's gonna get some defense, but the Void Stone is more about the offense, and he needs to be more of the damage dealer so that Vamana can just dive that back line and be tanky as hell.
Sure, but Stone of Binding worked out beautifully for KhaoticPurpose in that same sort of role, while also giving him some physical protections, and DoctorL needs some physical protection this early on, especially with the lead that KhaoticPurpose has gotten.
I respect that, but at the same time, Coviiii and Wolves together are the ones really bringing the pain. So, I mean, Wolves and KhaoticPurpose are both destroying you. I don't think there's a right answer here for the Cabrakan, put it that way. Either you get killed by Wolves or you get killed by KhaoticPurpose. You can't just buy a 10-stack Urchin, so you gotta pick one.
What if you could buy stacks for your items?
Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. That'd be scary.
Coming to your game in patch 4.11.
Yeah, we replaced rituals with buyable stacks.
Going back to the good old days. Next thing you know, we're buying stats again. That's the real good stuff. Red buff actually stolen there by Astral Authority, and look at where Wolves is coming around the back. I don't know if Elevate see him. Checo's handling 1, but Wolves is handling 3.
And he's gonna take care of that one. Checo got himself in trouble by missing the impale. Fortunately, not going to be the case. Oboronic is not safe any longer. The ultimate on the Kenshin is gone. DoctorL's in trouble, knocked up and put down. Wolves on the good side. Number 6 for the solo lane, Ymir.
He's just gigantic. And I mean that literally. This player model is just coming bumbling through the jungle, and all of Elevate just has to turn and run. He's level 14. So is Checo, yes, but Checo's all damage. Wolves can handle a lot of the damage that Elevate could put out. He doesn't have any magical protection, and that's the one thing that Elevate could really identify and punish him for. There's a lot of magical damage for Elevate early on between oBoronic and DoctorL. If both of those characters focus out the Ymir, there is some opportunity to maybe knock him down, but he's got so much HP, and he's going to get a big burst of it courtesy of that meditation coming back. It'd be very, very difficult to find the kill onto Wolves, but at this stage, Elevate doesn't really have an answer for him other than those 2 magical damage dealers.
Exactly. They need to find something to stop what's happening out of the solo lane. Wolves here, I mean, there's a reason he keeps it. So the Mortality tag is now a now defunct old esports squad. That's my buddy Justin, who was affiliated with them. But he keeps it. And I like to think that he keeps it because whenever you see Wolves show up, somebody's dying in that situation. He's just going to destroy you. Somebody's going to wind up. What's that?
Wow, I can't believe they let Checo go. They see this rotation on the bottom left, but Checo has no relics right now. There's the engagement onto him, the knockup into the gravity surge, but the Aegis comes up just in time to save Checo's life.
DoctorL looking to trade out. Big meditation from Kenshin. Oboronic is just getting pounded by Coviiii. Big damage out of the mid lane. KhaoticPurpose picks up DoctorL. Checo with the accuracy takes out Transonics. Full ultimate and the basic.
The Bancroft's talent gives him enough damage to just one-shot oBoronic, basically, who was about had about a third of his health life still.
MichaelCheco still looking for the kills, trying to find it. Big meditation out of the Astral Authority. Slow damage coming out of the solo lane ultimate. Brochacho taking basic. Checo still healthy, 60% or higher. Knockup and a KP strong, but the knockup from Coviiii even better. That one comes out of... Where did that knockup come from?
delnyy with the clear the path disrupts KhaoticPurpose from the feather step. Don't think it would have been enough damage to knock down Checo, but it keeps Checo healthy enough to allow Elevate to pull this Gold Fury.
Big deal. My mistake. Not the Hobwa, just the Vamana. Brochacho gonna join the likes of the Hobwa back at the fountain. Coviiii just spawning now. A little bit slow. Don't know if he's gonna be able to stop the Gold Fury attempt. Gold Fury already down about half HP or lower. This one is all Elevate. And with that Gold Fury, that should tie the game just about. Team separated by 100 gold or so. Well done.
Checo is carrying this game for Elevate right now. This is the Checo project, basically. oBoronic's doing a lot of damage, yes, but DoctorL has done very little in terms of being useful in damage this game. He's really just been dying a whole lot. 6 deaths. Half of Astral's kills are onto DoctorL, but that's okay because it's allowed Checo to have this space to free cast in these fights. He's 4-0-5. He now has a level up on Wolves right now, despite the start that Wolves has.
Yeah, and I mean, delnyy, I wasn't too concerned about the solo laner dying a lot because at the end of the day, yes, he's behind and it's not very good, but his job is utility. He's not supposed to be a hard carry. Might even die here, honestly, but the knockup provided for MichaelCheco to find that kill on the left side, that's what your Vamana's doing. That's what you're looking for Vamana to do here. So as the teams become even because of the plays out of MichaelCheco and friends, just a very strong look for Elevate to show that they're still in this one.
oBoronic wants to get in there and help his team defend the Portal Demon, but still pretty weak. Only level 12. It doesn't have his second relic. Enough to force Astral off the objective for the time being until Wolves decides to come back in.
There's an ultimate to stop Coviiii from getting away. This time DoctorL gets knocked up, pulled down, still have HP. That said, he's going to be brought down very close to 0 while MichaelCheco takes out the support. Ultimate out of Kenshin to stop DoctorL from dying, and he's going to get meted again. Kenshin on a tear. Wolves in the corner, can't lay down the carbon. He falls down. That's 2 for MichaelCheco. 6-0-4 for the Hunter.
Checo, man, what can you say? This dude's just absolutely killing it right now. delnyy may have gotten a little bit too cocky here. The Bluestone Pendant, not enough. KhaoticPurpose is going to survive. Look, your team is starting to win, yes, but delnyy's been getting the hands all day long. I don't know if I like that look.
I don't like that one at all. Your team's, you're up 1,000 gold, boy. It's a tie game. Kenshin almost dying to the Fire Giant. Elevate picking it up. That right there, that's a risky Fire Giant. That is not a clean and safe Fire Giant. I like it.
Sure, but delnyy does keep a wall enough there with the zoning. He ends up dying for the Fire Giant, yes, but does his job and keeps everyone out of range. Brochacho is able to steal away the speed buff, but Checo is here.
And there's KhaoticPurpose behind him. Look at oBoronic absorbing the Neith ultimate to allow the Hunter to continue to punch out the support. Doesn't wind up that way, but oBoronic with a heads-up play protecting MichaelCheco.
I'll tell you right now, no mid laner has willingly ever taken a World Weaver. Even when it's like saving someone's life, you always think twice about it.
Maybe oBoronic's just a better person than you.
That's very likely. That's a pretty low bar.
delnyy again pulled in. Elevate. Feels like, oh man.
But he does get 2 ultimates there for just his. That is a win at the end of the day for Elevate. This Cataclysm from Brochacho has been pretty key in terms of allowing Astral to both engage and disengage. And KhaoticPurpose has been really focusing out DoctorL after these knockups.
You know what's interesting here? Game number 1, Elevate went standard. And both of us said, look, man, standard, you're not going to be able to beat Astral Authority. This is standard. And they're doing very well.
It's all Checo at this point. Kenshin's had a solid game on this Khepri as well, 1-0 and 10.
Kenshin's done very well, man.
Keeping his team alive, just as Brochacho did in game 1. The Rising Dawns have been solid from him.
Real heads-up meds.
Exactly, but this is the MichaelCheco show right now. He is
absolutely.
Just single-handedly almost taking Elevate up over top of Astral.
And I have no problem with that. SMITE is a game that can be won by 1 player, 2 player, 3 player. It's about how the team reacts around it.
Sure.
If you have Elevate have won their games off of team synergy, right? But in the event that MichaelCheco takes off and 1 or 2 players start doing it, how does your team support them? As long as everybody comes together with the same goal in mind, I don't care if MichaelCheco carries you to victory or if everybody is 2-2-2. You wind up with the W, I'm giving you a high 5.
Exactly, and there's a lot of players on Elevate that can be that hard carry. DoctorL was yesterday for them up against Obey. oBoronic can absolutely do it in that mid lane on the Zeus, on the Habwa, on the Vulcan, whatever. And it just happens to be that this time around, it's Checo's turn, and he's absolutely stepping up.
That's the mark of a good team.
Yes.
You have to have multiple win conditions. If you come out and say, well, if this guy gets fed, we win, you lose. You got to have multiple shots. MichaelCheco taking multiple shots, set up for Coviiii. Beautiful play on a KhaoticPurpose, allowing the mid laner to dial it home.
This is bad news for Elevate now. delnyy has the ultimate, but he's not going to be able to get away, I don't think, outside of a great ultimate there from DoctorL, but the wall from Wolves is better. KhaoticPurpose able to find his 6th kill.
Gold Fury is up, so after delnyy falls down here, the objective likely to be the Gold Fury on the left-hand side. Important play coming out from Astral, negating the Fire Giant that Elevate was able to get beforehand. Not a single real big win was taken off of that buff. delnyy falls down. It's number 7 for the jungle.
7-1 and 7. Another 7 kills going the way of Wolves so far for Astral. 14 of the 17 are coming from that right side of the map. But again, it all just comes down to Astral Authority killed Checo before he could even blink. He had both relics available. Kenshin was right next to him. That's the biggest problem. If Kenshin is separated from his hunter, he can save his life. This is tough for oBoronic now.
Well, the wall's already down, but so are the Peds. The freeze is going to be strong enough, and oBoronic, the only member with the Fire Giant left, will get away. Astral with a bigger win than it may seem. Taking that team fight was very important. With the Fire Giant, Elevate get at least 2 towers, but because of the shutdown from Astral, still 3 tier 2s remain.
And honestly, one of the reasons that Elevate was able to get this pressure is because of how poorly Coviiii had done in the early game. He just was really, really far behind, had no pressure, was playing this Habwa. But all of that, all those shortcomings get erased in one play because he finds both with the knockup from the water spell, both Kenshin and Checo, and then both with the crushing wave, and that literally puts Astral back in the lead from one play out of Habwa. And that's the entire idea.
The true Hollywood story.
I will feed my brains out early, I will fall behind, I will be useless, and then I'm going to win us the game with one play.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Coviiii could do right here.
And the reason Astral are able to put themselves in this situation is because they're a strong enough team to play 4-on-5 for 20 minutes. And now Coviiii comes into it. Trouble for DoctorL, big knockups. Everybody's getting knocked up. Coviiii gets one. The offending mid laner on the other side gets another. KhaoticPurpose and DoctorL gonna die. Astral versus Elevate 4v4. No jungles.
Kenshin had the ultimate, just couldn't quite find it under DoctorL, so 1 for 1 each way, but it's actually Elevate who's a little healthier.
And the backflip out of Transonics. The portal even relatively low. 20%. oBoronic finally leashes it now. Coviiii in trouble. Aegis gonna end soon, and there's a couple more basics. Jump on top, and delnyy, the one to bring it home. Here's gonna be Aegis done for Trans as well. Big pluck out of the hug bug. And it's gonna bring Transonics down to half HP with no beads. delnyy still giving chase. delnyy taking him down. Meditation gonna help out as well. And the guys on Elevate wrestle control one more time.
They don't even want the Portal Demon right now. They want the Fire Giant itself. It's only Wolves and Brochacho. Wolves does has teleport, but I don't think they know this is happening. Brochacho finally gets that information, but he's gonna pay for it.
Too late. delnyy goes down. 3 in a row for delnyy so far. Excuse me, delnyy gets the kill. I'm used to delnyy going down, but 3 kills in a row for delnyy without a death. That's his turnaround. We mentioned Coviii's before. delnyy turning it around now, a little bit more healthy with the Pestilence, the Breastplate, and the Wing Blade coming online for him. Him and his team pick up the Fire Giant nice and easy. And the Portal Demon gonna go down as well. Still, ladies and gentlemen, teams separated by 1,000 gold. This one's close. Everybody's gonna back. Elevate need to make use of this Fire Giant. It's almost like they get a second chance off of the play they made last time.
Look at this roller coaster of a game we've had. It was Astral Authority, then it was Elevate, then it was Astral Authority, now it's Elevate again. It's a matter of who's going to be able to stay on top after they get a lead. Right now, that lead belongs to Elevate. It's a matter of how well can Checo position and can Kenshin save his life in these scenarios.
Right side, Elevate, Fire Giant around they wastes, pushing up on the right side lane. And they're looking to push down Astral. Let's ride along with Elevate as they plan their attack.
Go. Yeah, Ymir. Get the tower, get the tower.
Give up tier 2, give up tier 2.
Whoa. Get the tower. Relax.
I heard jump, Yo, look at this guy.
We look so what's he doing? Grab him. Yeah, nice.
Go.
Just go right, he's in the left.
I vote.
Go. We're trying to get up. Take for the minions. I'm still attacking. Yeah, Wolves. Careful.
No, we gotta. I don't want. We don't want to give him a Phoenix. We don't want to give him a Phoenix.
Backing.
Back. I got hit. Yo.
They blink.
He's gonna get left Phoenix now. Are they gonna get it?
Yeah.
We're giving up Phoenix. Alright, fine. We gotta push mid.
Unbelievable. These kids are fucking.
Yeah. Turn on him right here.
Careful, guys. Careful, guys. Get on, guys. Wasting time. Just get out. Just reset. Neith might come behind us here.
We can't give Phoenixes for free.
Push mid.
Yeah,
Just
push
mid.
Guys, you're fine.
Guys, can we push mid?
We have to go left because they have a fire wave. We have to go left because they have a fire wave.
Yeah, wait for us.
Guys, we're not there yet. Hold on,
I'm coming. Hold on.
We're fine, dude.
Coming, hold on.
We're still fine. I'm pushing left wave though. I can tag it.
Alright, let's go.
The biggest thing that the biggest takeaway for me out of that listen-in right there is Kenshin just calm down, don't be dumb, play it safe. Okay, they got a Phoenix, we can still be smart about this.
And you hear them say they want to push up that left wave because of the fire minions, but they're leaving that to DoctorL, who hasn't been effective in these team fights anyways. I like this decision from Elevate.
It's a really good call. oBoronic takes a big shot. Kenshin's gonna bring him up with the meditation. delnyy left side, dealing 2v1. Forces out the defensive relic out of Coviiii. MichaelCheco's not gonna be able to chase him down. Frozen by Wolves, but a nicely timed knockback prevents the damage.
Nice knock up there, though, from KhaoticPurpose. Gets those purification beads out from MichaelCheco, who has to use those in order if he wants to jump anywhere around KP whenever that gravity surges up.
And of course, you know, with the Anhur at this point in the game, you want to, majority of the time, be using that jump defensively, but we have seen Checo not afraid to go for the offensive knock-up with the jump, knowing that he has Khepri's ultimate in the wings.
Absolutely. He's been playing this game beautifully in terms of the team fight control. That's the big thing for him thus far.
And Kenshin with the control as well. Gonna grab Brochacho, knocked up and knocked back. There's gonna be help from the right side. Transonics coming through with his Astral Wave as well. Not gonna be able to find a target. MichaelCheco can. That's number 9. Love Potion for the Hunter. Still looking for Wolves. Knocked into the wall. Stunned. Pulled. Basic in trouble. And ElevateDoctorL on the south side, able to make KhaoticPurpose fall down.
I just don't know if that was the fight for Astral. Elevate still has Fire Giant. They're still in the lead, and then they take a fight in a neutral area without any sort of extra defense on their side. Brochacho just has not had the game that he had in game 1. 0-7 on this Geb. He's been so far forward so often.
You absolutely hit the nail on the head right there, Aggro. Just the stuff I've been seeing out of Brochacho, just not strong. He's been walking into the wrong spots. You heard Elevate on the right side say, what is he doing? They were as surprised as we were to see Brochacho out of position. And because of a couple of poor positioning shots from Geb, a couple of good shots from Elevate, they were able to wrestle control of this back and forth game together and take the win, tie this series up. It's now flat and even 1-1.
For me, it just comes back to the fact that Checo was able to roam free that game. He got an early lead, and then Transonics on Neith, just not the character I like to see him on. He's one of those guys who likes to play these mid to late game hyper carries. Neith, yes, the global pressure helped out, but I would rather see you give the Neith to Coviiii in the mid lane and then put Transonics on the late game hyper carry instead of the vice versa. Coviii's early game seems to be pretty strong overall. His positioning seems to be good in the early stages. The team fights still need a little work there in the mid lane, I would say, but his early game is good. So if you put him on an early game god that he can help his team get a lead with and then hand the ball off to Transonics in the late game, that seems to be a little bit of a better strategy thus far for Astral instead of the vice versa where Coviii's the late game and Transonics is the early.
I had a really wonky analogy last week talking about Homie FA playing Odin, but this time I've had some time to work on it. If you're a pilot, you stick him in a helicopter, not a tank. At the end of the day, Transonics is going to be one of these big carries for your squad. Don't put him underneath. Give him the Hou-Yi, the Shibalanki I made you mad about yesterday. Something he can kill people with. Transonics at the end of the game was relegated to pushing up lanes and taking down towers with the Neith. I would much rather him be in those team fights.
Plus, just give him something that he can fight with in lane. Neith just gets bullied by Anhur in lane, and as soon as Checo got a slight lead, Transonics knows that he can't fight him, and so he gives him the farm that allows Checo to come in and make these big impacts in the late game. And you got to give a ton of credit to ElevateDoctorL. Just understood that he was dying a lot that game and just continued to throw his life away in order to protect Checo, who absolutely came through in the clutch. This is this kid's first LAN, and he is absolutely dominating whenever given the chance.
Elevate right now in game number 2 proved that they're not going to be able to be walked on here in this best of 5 series, making adaptations on the fly. That's what you got to do if you want to be successful. We mentioned them. We'll go deeper on the desk.
Talk about a wake-up call for Astral Authority. I mean, that was just an incredibly dominant performance by Elevate this go-round.
Absolutely, and this is what we're expecting out of the new squad out of Elevate. You know, some of these new LAN rookies, like Agro was talking about how MichaelCheco, this is his first LAN, but he's not playing like it at all.
And as a Hunter player yourself, Zaxi, how did you feel particularly about that Neith Anhur matchup?
I mean, it's a really bad matchup for Neith. Anhur wins that matchup through and through. And a player like Transonics, who does like to, you know, box in lane, I think they do definitely need to stick him on something that can fight back into the Anhur, you know, maybe the Hou-Yi, the Uller, something along those lines. And
there were glimpses of shining moments for Astral Authority where, for a second, even at the T2, Elevate had the Fire Giant, but they ended up falling due to the Habuan knockup set up into KhaoticPurpose on the Feather Step. And it looked like, I mean, you thought that that might have just been it.
Yeah, I mean, once you let a composition like that come online, the Hebo and the Geb as well, you know, it was looking grim for Elevate, but in the end, you know, Coviiii wasn't hitting these 2-3 man ults in the team fights like he should have. I think in the fight that, you know, was a big one also around Gold Fury, he missed, I believe, everything and then ended up just dying, so he really didn't get any damage off. And so, you know, and credit to Checo too. Checo went off, so I think I don't know. I think if Coviiii would have done a little bit more on the Hebo, that could have gone in Astral's favor.
And I think it goes back to the picks and bans where he did pick the Hebo instead of Vulcan being available to him. You know, you still applied the same kind of setup with the Willish for KhaoticPurpose with a knockup, but now you don't have to put yourself out of position whenever you use that ultimates.
And how did you feel about Checo's build in particular? I mean, you noticed that he opted for no crit really. He just went for the pure attack speed build.
I do like the pin. I like the pin and attack speed builds. I do with Anhur though. I like to see the chin side. You already have that your passive pen, so it is good to you know, go chins early. But I think, you know, as far as Checo was concerned, he was doing fine. So I mean, it worked out for him and it got him the win.
Probably the saving grace for Elevate, as things were looking a little bit grim towards the start of that game. Even having the late game composition, Astral Authority still seemed like they were going to be commanding the presence of the map.
A lot of back and forth action between these two teams. You know, we saw how Astral Authority was getting a lead, and then Elevate get back into it, getting the fire giant at the end, but then still holding on Astral Authority. And just like that, we're going into Game 3 with both of these teams tied at 1-1.
And I know that both of these teams, it's basically like having a new slate entirely. Like this might as well be the first game of the day, considering that when you're tied 1-1, it's basically 0-0.
Absolutely. This best of 5 just became a best of 3 at this point.
And that's always an interesting mindset to head into a game with. But I know in particular, you mentioned it as well with the Geb pick. How did you feel that that was playing out for Astral?
Well, I think the Geb pick was good. Like, you know, on paper it looked good, but you're picking the Geb to protect Coviiii on the Hebo. At the end of the day, you know, I think Coviiii was like 0-4 at 12 or 13 minutes, something like that. So I just don't think the Hebo was confirming as much damage as he should have been in the team fights. I think the Geb was good, the shields were good, but there's a certain point, you know, after you use all your abilities as Hebo and you ult, you're kind of a sitting duck. So a Geb shield can only get you so far. You know, your team needs to follow up and clean up the other members, but it just wasn't working out.
A little bit too much greed, I would say, from Coviiii in a lot of those early initiations. We saw plenty of times where he would try to use his ultimate as a cleanup reel, but it never seemed to quite work out that way.
No, not at all. You know, Zeus game 1, game 2, Hebo didn't really work out for him. We'll see what he goes into game number 3. But also, you know, Wolves playing the Ymir. They first picked it pretty early in the second game draft, and I'm kind of surprised by wanting to go for it that early, considering that there was a lot more options available for Astral Authority, like Khepri, for example.
But Wolves had a massive lead, actually, and Zaxi pointed it out numerous times. He's like, this guy's huge. Hebo definitely gets the late game, no problems.
Yeah, I mean, Wolves had, I think, 3 levels at one point on delnyy. So when you have a side lane that's huge like that, and, you know, the mid laner was struggling, you just get to kind of, you get accelerated to that late game for free because your side lane is able to alleviate some of the pressure off you in mid, you know, if you are struggling. So I thought that was what was going to happen was, you know, Wolves rotates mid, gets Coviiii to late game for free, then you got a late game Hebo.
And surprisingly enough, Bologna getting banned by Astral Authority, so delnyy finally forced to go into a different god, you know, playing that Vamana. Didn't have the same kind of impact as the Bologna that he's normally used to seeing, but he still did work in the team fights as the game progressed.
But he didn't play Bologna, and they found their win against Astral Authority, so maybe a little bit of a secret strategy there by Elevate, actually.
Could be the key to success for that soul laner out of Elevate. You know, sometimes you get your back forced against the wall and then you're forced to react, and what other way than to go from a little baby to a big one?
Nothing quite like forcing the issue, right, Tolly? Just a little bit?
Just a tip. Just gotta force it.
But